Hello, friends. I never quite know how to say hello, but hello. Nice to see you. Um, Today I am going to be doing the first part of a new ornament design. I'm going to be doing this design. I sketched it and then I drew it onto the tracing paper the way I think I'd like it, more or less. Then I flipped it over and I traced that again in nice dark lines. And now I will be transferring the graphite onto this conditioned rolled out clay. As you can see, rolled it out fairly thickly. Probably don't want to go much thinner than 1/4 of an inch because you want to give yourself some depth to work with if you're doing bas relief. If you're going to be building up, of course, your base could be a little thinner. Now, this is the second in this attempt to do an ornament that's sort of a holly spirit. I like this one. It didn't turn out quite the way I wanted, and I think partly because I keep putting colors in there that I normally wouldn't. I'm just not completely satisfied. So I thought if I changed the the size difference. So here she's large and the leaves are growing in her hair, and I feel like the leaves sort of got lost in the hair. Here she's small, and so there will be just a few leaves, but hopefully they'll be large enough that it will really translate as holly. So now that I have conditioned this clay, and this is Sculpey Primo that I'm using, I am going to take this, flip it over this way so it should be looking in this direction. You always want to make sure that the clay that you roll out is larger than you need so that it's easy enough to trim down if you need it. So here, with a light touch, I just want to push down in circular motions until that tracing paper adheres as well as it can to the surface of the clay. And once I think it's not going to move around on me, which is the point of that, I'm just going to take it like this and apply a little bit more pressure. Just want to make sure that I transfer that graphite as well as possible. Obviously, since I drew it, I can redraw it if necessary. If you were trying to trace some other design or use a photograph, you could do that with line paper, with tracing paper. Just trace that over. Okay. Hopefully that'll be sufficient. Yep, there we go. So now that I have this, I can take my craft knife and just start carefully going in and cutting around the outlines, what I have here. Now, when you're cutting, you want to make sure that you think about the depth of your cut. You can always go back in later and deepen some things. You want to think about maybe not going more than about halfway into the thickness of what you've rolled out so that your piece will be sturdy. And so the things that are going to be in deepest relief, maybe focus on those first. And you can go back in and do little details later as well. Now, I think that I might use a method for the berries that I used for most of the berries on the other ornament, which is that Here, you know, you just leave a little extra room there and come back and do that. Very lightly score that, because that's not going to be very deep. In the mold stage, which is the second stage, then I will use a little ball tool, or for some of these I might even use the medium size, the next size up. So I'm actually going to leave these more or less flat, and just try to add some definition later on. Oh, I do not own the rights to that music, whatever is coming in through the window. Wouldn't want to get dinged for that. Always a surprise. All right, so I'm going to go deeper and then lighter as I come in. No, deeper and lighter as I come in. Go. And again, around here, I might come back and